Welcome back on this Workforce Wednesday. This week, we're looking at the future of careers in Alaska by looking at our past. What can history teach us? The answer this morning from someone who studies it. Joining us on the couch, Carrie Carty with the Alaska Process Industry Careers Consortium, and Terrence Cole, professor of history at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Carrie Ann, how does looking back help us look forward when it comes to careers in Alaska?
Well, it's really important that we prepare our school-age children for future careers, and so looking back at our state's history can give us some clues on how we might do that. So we focus on some high-paying careers at APEC, and if we just take the opportunity to look back and learn from what we can try to predict what might the future bring for careers.
So, Professor Cole, this year Alaska observing the 150-year anniversary since the transfer of government from Russia to the United States. If we look back on just that time period, what can we potentially learn about the future of careers here in Alaska?
Well, sure. Well, you know, that's the sesquicentennial, so you should say that really fast.
Okay.
You know, I think the one thing that history really teaches us is that you have to be prepared for change, and you have to be ready to adapt, because that's what life is. Life is a series of one adaptation after another, and the dramatic changes that have taken place in Alaska over history drive that lesson home like nothing else.
So right now, besides tourism, Alaska's primary industries are resource-driven: oil, gas, fishing, mining. Does history tell us this might change, and is there a new industry on the horizon?
Well, you know, the reality is Alaska is a natural resource state, and probably is always going to be a natural resource state. That's clearly our sort of competitive advantage in the world. And for young people particularly, it benefits both them and the industries to have homegrown talent. And so that's why I think APEC is just doing just a wonderful job in sort of nurturing local talent, because it benefits both our residents and the industries, too, that it supports.
So what's best advice you could offer parents and maybe educators about preparing the future workforce based on these history lessons?
They've got to be willing to work for a job that doesn't even exist yet. And that's the reality. I mean, if you look back throughout all of our history, I have a book here I brought along, which is called 1,000 Ways to Make a Living, and written in 1919. And, you know, some of them are evergreens. Like, one of the plans in this 1,000 Ways to Make a Living is become U.S. Senator. That's the sum total of the whole plan. However, most of the wisdom in this book is completely irrelevant for today. And so 100 years from now, they're going to be thinking completely different about what is a career, what is a job. So that surely is what history teaches, that you have to be willing to change and to adapt.
Does the history lesson change based on where you live? Say Anchorage versus rural Alaska?
Well, you know, it's still the same thing applies, is because we know change is the order of the day. Nothing stays the same. And children, in a way, and young people, to be prepared, they need the best education possible, and essentially learning the good habits that everybody does as far as discipline and be willing to change. That's one thing about old folks, you know, like me, unlike all you young people. It gets difficult to change the older you are, and we've got to sort of nurture that with the young people.
All right, a fantastic history lesson, potentially into the future of careers here in Alaska. And of course, if you want to make contact, getting some more information with APEC, you can contact Martha Peck, the number on your screen, or you can email her at martha@apec.org. Thanks for being here this morning.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.